All right, guys. So I've got a very interesting interview from a very great guy called Lawrence from Token AI. And oh boy, this is my 17th blockchain interview, interviewing great people like Lawrence. I know he was featured in the New York, I think, what was it, a New York bestseller? Were you or something
Oh
like
yeah,
that?
yeah. I was a bestseller author. So
There you
yeah.
go, guys. So he was a New York bestseller author, and we're now interviewing him on Token AI. What is going on with the market and how this technology is changing? If you don't know who I am, I interview great projects. Good people like Lawrence, who's coming on board to tell us exactly what is going on with Token AI. And this interview is not financial advice. It's not investment advice. This is just purely an educational video interview to tell people about the legitimate projects that are out there. So this is all abiding by the regulations, of what's going on with the SEC and so forth. So Lawrence, man, it's good to get you on board. Obviously my audience will love to know, 26,000 followers is quite a lot of people. And it's good to get great people like you to tell us about Token AI. So fire away, man. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, cool. Well, I mean, I think I think the thing that's probably one of the more important things is that I've been in this space a long time.
All
And
right.
right,
Rock and roll. Yeah.
I started in 2011. I lost everything in the MT Gox hack.
Right.
So I lost everything and had to kind of lick my wounds for
Oh
about two
man.
years.
So what? The Mount Gox attack in back in the days, you lost it all?
I lost everything.
Oh
And
man.
yeah, it was really rough, man, because
That's rough.
yeah, but it was an interesting thing because, you know, I have now been on
It
the
must have taught you something, right? It must have taught you.
course. And there are three things that it taught me. Number one is that you have to think long term in this space.
Yeah.
That's number one. Number two, you have to be security focused.
Did you hear that, guys? Number one, long term. Number two, security focus. Before we go
Yes.
into the interview, but tell us number three.
Number three, you have to sort of tamp or check your human emotions, which wanna do this all the time, right?
Which is volatility, right?
That's right. Yeah. And if you can manage those three things right now in the space, the way the space is,
Right.
you will thrive in the space. The challenge is, and so basically, I've been through all of this stuff. I have a background in film.
Right.
Um, that's part of I teach meditation. I still travel the world leading workshops, but fundamentally, the thing is like you can't like I've met a lot of people over the years who
Right.
meditate and do things and
Yeah.
whatever, but you cannot thrive as a human being until you get investment down. You just can't, because otherwise you're hand to mouth, like paycheck to paycheck, event to event, and it
Right.
creates this kind of instability.
So how did you build from that? I mean, the Mount Gox attack, I know it was pretty huge.
It
A
was
lot
huge,
of
dude.
it was
It
huge.
almost
It was one of
destroyed the
the biggest
space.
scandal out
Yeah.
there. And I know a lot about it. I mean, look, I got 26,000 followers, a lot of them are crypto enthusiasts. Tell us, just tell my audience, how did you get out of that to be where you are now, basically?
Yeah, dude. I mean, like the main thing to understand is like I mean, basically, no lie, I was devastated for a good solid year, right? I mean,
Right. Of course, yeah.
because but what happened is I met actually somebody who was more of a newbie to the space,
Right.
and I met him at Burning Man,
Yeah.
and I was like, we had a conversation, and he said to me, he asked about my background, and I told him about the MT Gox hack, and I expected him to go, wah, wah, wah. But
Yeah.
instead he high fived me, and he was like, "Man, you're an OG. You've been through an epic loss.
Yeah.
You're gonna be great." And
So
and
you're
that
still in the space. You're still in it now, which is
I not only am I in it, but when we had that conversation, which was in 2015, I jumped back in really full on.
Right.
And then I said to myself, you know, having taught around the world, having done all these things, loving cryptocurrency,
Right.
writing books, I was like, you know, the one thing that's missing is people's understanding of money. And if I can teach people how to think about money again, right? How to think about security, how to think about the vast possibility that is the potential there with crypto. If I can create something for them that would allow them to get into investing, to think long term, to, you know, tamp down the emotions, to just think differently, that I can do a good service for, you know, I mean, as trite as this may sound, I really do mean, like,
you know,
do a good
I
service
just
for
wanted to keep
humanity.
it short, but yeah, that's really, really interesting to hear that. And, you know, it's amazing. Well, it's kind of educational to tell, you know, my audience, because this is the first that I come down from. But you know what, man, I'm glad you kind of got through that and sort of saw the other end. And it is an emotional sort of thing. But let's go into token AI. You know, this is all about token AI today. And, you know, what I want to ask you before you started is why did you start this project? What got you going? Why did you set up Token AI?
Well, for these reasons that we were just talking about, because I've been through so much.
Right.
I believe that this space, the crypto space, is in the process of the very early stages of revolutionizing the way we think about money and the transfer of value. So, you know, I've been around the block probably quite a few times more than you. You know, I'm not a, you know, a teenager. And so I was like, you know, how can I apply my wisdom and create a platform that would allow people to come into the space, minimize the volatility, the emotional volatility, have a secure platform, and give them exposure to this beautiful marketplace of, you know, this beautiful marketplace of crypto and value exchange. That's how I developed Token AI. And then I just spent like 4 years acquiring the team that would be capable of doing that, right? So in essence, the AI part is there to minimize volatility, emotional volatility, because you don't want to trade your emotions. You'll always get into trouble. But an AI doesn't have that. And then platform of just like really easy to use. So that's kind of why I created it, because I took all of the awful things that happened to me in this space and tried to create something that would make it really easy for regular people to get exposure, in a nutshell.
So that's how Token AI was born. So let's go into the breakdown of what Token AI is. What is it you guys are doing in this sector, and how can you tell our audience exactly what your project does, so then we know what it is, sort of thing?
Sure. So the main idea, like the big idea here, is that you use entryway, right? So I want it like crypto for newbies.
Right.
So you come in and you say, you know, which I have these conversations all the time with people. They find out I'm in crypto and they're like, oh my God, I'm really interested, but I have no idea where to begin. So Token AI would be the entry ramp. And we're live right now. So you can go to platform.tokenai.io. You can log in. You can set up an account really easily. And what it'll give you is it gives you like this platform of three options. You can do some AI research on specific tokens. You can do a basket. In other words, you could say, I've got $1,000. What do you, our AI is called Juliet. She's awesome. You know, what would Juliet pick for you to give you, like a basket? And then ultimately, as we get through all of our regulation and all of our paperwork, which
that's something we're going to talk about. Yeah,
for sure. We'll have an aspect of the platform that'll actually be able to trade for you and auto rebalance. So right now it's just information. We are registered internet advisors with the SEC. So you can go to the platform, do some research, and then trade yourself.
Well, with the SEC, yeah? Kind of, yeah?
Yeah.
All right. So that's good that it's sort of fully compliant. Let's go down into the fundamentals. We'll talk about all of that later, but what I want to understand now about Token AI and the reason why you launched this platform. what did you see a problem in the market? You know, obviously this is going to be linking to artificial intelligence. What is it what problems do you see?
There's a couple problems, that the major problems. Number one is Wall Street has had all of the big AI tools for a long time. So Wall Street figured out a long time ago, 20 years ago, they started to realize emotional trading isn't going to work.
Right.
Right. So they began to offload their trading to AI.
Right.
Exactly. And because, you know, and a majority of the trading that's happening now is really just these tiny, tiny edges in an AI space. And everybody's got their little proprietary idea. What we thought about was, can we democratize these tools and give them to everybody and let, you know, you'll be able to tweak them in the way you want to, but what if you have the tools and you have an idea and ultimately you can execute that idea in the space, just like, you know, the big time traders do. So we're, you know, we have these very high level. I have one of, you know, seriously, one of the best people in the country in AI is on our team.
Wow.
He's been in the space like full on. I mean, the guy's a rocket scientist on top of that, but he's also, you know, mega developing AI. And I explained to him this space and he got it. And he was like, I totally get it. We need to bring this knowledge to the blockchain space and democratize the tools.
So yeah, go on. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's the first thing, right? Like, can you get high level tools? Can you get access to them? Number two is, can you do it in an easy way, right? So the big problem, again, is that people go like, I like this space, but I have no idea what to do.
Yeah, and a lot of people don't know what to do, you know, they're pretty unsure. The mass is still trying to learn about what blockchain is, you know, what is crypto, and people still don't understand. So I think education is something that I stand for, you know, education and teaching, you know, of interviews is something I really want to do. And like I say, it's great that you're doing that.
Yeah, well, that's why we're taking the time to do this podcast, because I believe that ultimately educating people is the most important thing, right? So I'm not, you know, like sometimes people come and they go like, oh, well, do you have an edge? You know, what's the edge? How much money am I going to make? To be honest, that's actually not who I'm looking for on this platform. You know, what we're looking for are the people who go, I want exposure to the space, I see what's possible, and I want to stay in it long term.
Right.
Those people need a little bit of hand-holding, right? So they're a little bit of education. They talk to Juliet. She picks a platform. They buy it. Eventually, we'll automate the whole system. But we have to move very slowly because we have to make sure that the regulators are happy with what we're doing.
With the SEC, and that's something very important, you know, and a lot of projects need to start following what the regulators does, you know. So Token AI is something where you're building a platform and it's going to be fully automated. Tell us a little bit about this, you know, how is automation coming into this, and what is it you guys are going to do?
Right. So here's my ideal world, and this is a tool that I personally want. I want to live my life, right? I want to go spend time with people I love, doing things that I love to do, right? I don't want to be sitting staring at a screen at 2 o'clock in the morning, which I basically, until developing this tool, I would have to do. I'd have to check how the Asian markets are doing. I'd just check on things. So I'm sure you've been down the rabbit hole where you're up at 2 o'clock in the morning, like cross-eyed and just like, rah. You know, like that's what happens when you get bit by the bug. But what we're planning here is ultimately you'll come into the platform with an amount of money. The platform will recommend, Juliet will recommend a basket for you. And then ultimately she'll trade that basket and auto rebalance.
Right.
Now we can't do that yet, but we're in discussions, we're in negotiations, and ultimately we're getting all the regulation done. Ultimately, the goal is that you think long-term, you forget about it, and you just enjoy the ride.
You know, I like the fact that you're saying think long-term, because that's what I'm all about. You know, I'm all about hodling. I can see the space really, really sort of growing. So Token AI, you know, what is it now? What are your responses through your community? You know, you're saying you're building the platform. how is the community reacting to that? And is actually people starting to use, you know, token AI
Oh, yeah.
for what it is?
Yeah, I mean, there, you know, the people. So we we launched the platform live while we were in Japan. We were
All
speaking at,
right, that's a good one.
it was incredible. We were speaking at the FinCEN conference. I love Japan. We had a great time, and I really like the Japanese. Really embrace
They welcome
that.
hospitality, right?
They, yes, and they have and they really technology. I mean, they're, when I came back from Japan, I realized that the world, you know, whereas in America, we're kind of trying to hold things back in some ways because, you know, that, like, we're trying to figure out what's
The
going on.
regulation, yeah, the paperwork, yeah.
Japan has a different view. They're like, their view is like, let it go and then we'll fix the problems as they come up. And so what that does is it creates this certain amount of, you know, there's some big things that go wrong, but there's some great things that go right. It really frees up the knowledge and the technology. So I really enjoyed it. Came back completely more bullish. But the platform went live. We probably have about 100 users right now, just kind of giving us feedback. I don't want lots of users right in the beginning because I want to, you know, I want those people that are into it, that are excited, that are on our side, that are kind of going through and, you know, making sure there's no stupid problems or things that they didn't expect to happen when they click X button.
Which can happen as well, can't it, Lawrence? You know, these problems, yeah.
And but security is number one. So all of these things are more like user interface. The back end is super, super, super solid. And we don't hold anybody's assets. Right. So that's the number one thing. I don't want to hold people's assets. You have to hold them. But we'll give you the information right now. And people love it. The community loves it.
I think it's amazing. I think it's great that, you know, you're not actually fully compliant on yourself. You're actually letting the technology do the work. And it's something where, you know, AI is going to be a part of our lives, whether if that's going to be bot trading or automation or, you know, automobiles, you know, everything and anything is going to be automated, and it's just a matter of time until, you know, robotic evolution starts to occur. But what I want to know is with AI, with what you're doing is kind of helping, you know, those guys that, you know, are interested in cryptocurrency to go to token AI, to really take the pressure off that, you know, looking at the screen. You know, nobody wants to do that. You know, no one has time. Time is an essence. Do you think token AI is trying to solve all those problems?
Oh, for sure. Yeah, I want you to, you know, I want you to like I said, it's like it's almost like in the days when automated cars, when cars are fully automated, you don't want to, you know, get in your car and worry about the automated car. At some point, you just want to get in the back seat, you know, take a nap or do some work or whatever, and let the car do its thing.
And that's what token AI does, right? It lets you do the thing, right? Sort of thing.
That's exactly right.
Let me go into your mind, Lawrence. You know, I want to ask you some simple questions. Do you think trading has changed now? You know, obviously my 26,000 followers are looking at this. They're watching this video. You know, and you're going to get a lot of views seeing this. I want to understand and pick your brains out. Has trading changed from, say, you know, looking at the computer to this bot trading? And when did this bot trading begin? Because as we know, a lot of trading is taking place over the weekends. Why is it now we're starting to look at AI as the technology to basically solve our issues instead of humans doing it?
Well, I think AI is good at doing things that we're not good at. So AI, it's like each of us, even right now as we're recording this, each of us has a cloud of data that is following us around. Okay, there's everything you do is leaving some piece of information. That cloud of data, it's sort of like an exhaust fume.
Yeah, it's like an exhaust, and there's data everywhere, right? You know, even the guys watching this video, they would agree. There's a lot of data everywhere, and it can be mind-boggling at times.
That's right. So our brains are boggled. You just said it. It's mind-boggling. But for an AI, AIs are really good at taking vast amounts of data and finding patterns. and making sense of that data. And that's really the big breakthrough of AI right now. So,
and refer that to trading, refer that to what is going on now with bot trading. Obviously, why are we using AI for this technology? I know Token AI is doing something there.
Right, because an AI has the ability to learn. So we are also deep in machine learning. So you have big data, you have AI to analyze, and then it can also learn from the data. There's never been anything in the history of humanity that can do that. I mean, you could look at the entire blockchain space in a matter of seconds and find patterns. Like, no human brain can do that. And ultimately, that's why AIs they're going to be so good for so many spaces. That is how work is going to be done. That doesn't mean humans will be out, right? Because I have experience. It's going to take a while for AIs to gain certain kinds of experience. So, I'll always be looking at our AI's judgments and kind of putting a human kind of that sort of intangible right now. But someday that won't be the case. Someday AIs will handle all that. But that's now understand, AI is different from a bot. A bot is just a rule-based actor. It's kind of just going like, this thing went like this, and it's just following a set of instructions. Right? The AI is actually doing kind of a deep data analysis, where the bot is just responding. Certainly make money with a set of instructions, but ultimately the AI is more like a consciousness of trading.
Right.
And those are very powerful tools. I mean, there is a reason why funds and big banking organizations spend
they look at
hundreds
bots,
of millions of dollars on trading algorithms and all of those things. And that's what we're giving regular humans access to.
I was just interested the way how things are changing now from someone who was a stock trader in 1980 to now the way looking at bots, and the bots are now doing the job. It's kind of interesting. So my next question, Lawrence, is what sort of challenges does Token AI face? That's kind of interesting what we talked about there. But what sort of challenges are Token AI facing now? And is there any challenges?
Oh, dude! I mean, if you're alive, you've got challenges, especially in this day and age, right? So the good part, like the thing that I really deeply ultimately believe in, is that this has been a hand-selected team that we've cultivated over years.
Right.
And the team is really the thing that ultimately makes a project.
You just hit it on the nail there. It's all about the team.
Yeah, and that's really what we are, what I think is the thing. We have challenges every day, right? Regulations change. Lawyers call up and they go, oh, well, this person was overheard in a conversation in a hallway at the SEC about it's so crazy. So it's not so much that there won't be challenges. In my opinion, if you have a plan,
right,
that doesn't anticipate being clobbered by something you don't even know exists, then you don't have an actual plan. So I expect challenges pretty much every day.
And that's good, man. You're transparent. You're telling that there are challenges that Token AI will face, but in a sense that you're doing justice as well for people who want to get into this space. Would you agree?
Right. Yeah, absolutely. And I'll tell you, if somebody does look you in the eye and says there are no challenges, they're not dealing with reality. And it's really, the space is too new. There is too much happening. So you have to be nimble, you have to be flexible, and you have to stay on your mission. So I think of like doing, especially a blockchain company, is kind of like flying an airplane from, the US to Japan.
Right.
About 96% of the time, the airplane is actually off course. So what it's doing is it's making these little micro adjustments.
Right.
But you don't need to be on target the entire time. All you need to do is to just use to just trust the AI, which is making those little adjustments in the airplane. So it's off course, it's just going like this. But you know what the big direction is, and you'll handle anything that comes up. That's all you can do. So you don't have to worry about, I know where we're going, right? We know we have a very clear idea, which is to democratize these trading tools for people and to really create a set it and forget it platform where regular people can thrive, not only survive, but thrive
That's
in the
really
marketplace
important.
of crypto. Yeah, that's my goal. And if you think long term, you'll be good.
You'll be good, guys. There's Lawrence. He's telling us straight, you will be good. And it's all about the long-term picture. Would you agree? Is that something you want to tell my audience?
100%, right? I mean, there are people. I ran into a young guy. I was speaking at a conference yesterday, and I ran into a young guy. He came up to me. He was like, "So, how much money am I gonna, like, that's not what we're doing, man.
No.
We're not doing that. If you want to do that,
to make a quick buck, right? I mean, it's all about that in the long term. But it looks like to me you're doing this for the community. You're doing it for education. You want great guys. That's why we're doing this interview to share an educational interview. This is not financial advice at all. But
no,
none of that. It's all education. But that's what you kind of stand for, right?
Yeah, that's the basis of the platform. And, and if you take a long-term view and you regularly invest in this asset class of cryptocurrency, it's going to be fine, right? All this stuff about FUD and, the end of the world and it's going to collapse. Like there's, all of that stuff is smoke and mirrors. And, I try to teach people to just see through that and just relax and think long term and, just buy, set it, forget it, and live your life. And, the worst thing you can do is look at your portfolio every day.
Right.
That's the word. You want to be depressed, look at your portfolio every day. You want to be ridiculously elated is in a bull market, you're like, oh my God, I'm going to live forever. You want to be eternally depressed in a bear market, look at your portfolio. Like if you go
roll with it, you just got to roll, right?
You got to roll and you got to go long term. Yeah. Ultimately, my friend, the key is crypto, we believe will be doing this kind of motion. And as long as the general direction is up long term, you will be fine if you're in the game. The only way you can really miss out is to just be like waiting on the sidelines until daddy tells you it's all safe. And by the time that happens, which will be, 5 to 10 years from now,
it'll be
too late. Yeah.
Right. Let's go into regulation about token AI.
Sure.
So we understand now that token AI is helping traders, those novice people who don't know much about it, to get into the system and to make things easier to purchase Bitcoin, Ethereum. So tell us about, what coins there are and how is regulation now starting to play effect? Tell us a little bit about what you guys are doing there.
Yeah, well, so regulation, I mean, all we can do is respond to regulation. Right. And we can filter, like, I'm not going to let our AI, I'm not going to let Juliet pick projects that are suspect in any way. In other words, we can do due diligence on the teams and things. So we're actually looking at a potential joint venture with somebody who will be out rating the teams and projects. So there's quite a few, talks, some of things I can talk about, a lot of things I can't, but we're always looking for strategic relationships to give people more information and to have clearer information. So, there's been a bunch of projects that the SEC has thrown a lasso around and said, hey, we want to look at your stuff.
Elastos,
What's that?
Is that Elastos you just said?
Yeah, they're looking at projects who have not been compliant.
Right.
So as that happens, two things are going to happen, right? You either get into compliance or you disappear.
Right.
And that really is going to be the thing. So that's just part of the space. I mean, it's just part of maturing. It's just part of the space.
And with token AI, you're following all of that in terms of what you guys are doing, yeah?
Yeah, we have to. I mean, because you can't think long term if you think you're going to be outside of the law. Like that's crazy. Like
That's crazy.
Yeah,
And
you have to.
you have to think of it as long term, like you say, right? And be with it, right? So
Right. I want to help set the future of crypto. So in order to do that, you have to speak to the people who set policy. You have to communicate in their language. You have to help educate them. A lot of the fear, right? A lot of the fear in this space is because, I mean, seriously, until this year, a lot of people didn't even know what crypto was and blockchains. They're just like, what?
yeah,
So,
they're still scratching their heads, and I think regulation and obviously governance is very important, and it's something I kind of stand for when I do these interviews as well, is that, it's all sort of important to follow those steps, because it's something I also reflect on the government blockchain community, which I'm part of. So, I stand for all those issues. My final question is, what is so I want to now just break down two parts of this interview. So we've got this great platform that you're building. Where is it going in the future? What are we looking at? And how does the roadmap look like, say, for the next 6 months?
Oh, well, so the next 6 months is going to be building and strategic relationships so that ultimately you can come to the platform, you on the platform could hit buy. Juliet will buy your buy your basket for you and then rebalance it automatically. That's my, I don't know how long that's going to take. That's all a process of just paperwork, mountains of paper. I'm not going to show you the room, but if you did see the room, it would be filled with stacks of paperwork. Because that's what's going on.
That's part of the process, right? That's part of the game.
That's right. So then what you're left with is kind of, the next sort of long-term vision is how do we engage in AI long-term, which I'm super interested in. What is the long-term view? Like if we're setting the foundation right now for the future of AI.
That's amazing.
And we have to be in the game. That's part of why I do this. Sort of the deeper mission, the easy mission is educate, help people on board, make it, set it and forget it, have them thinking long term.
Right.
The thing that we're not prepared for as humanity is the long term things that are involved with AI and things that we can't even see. Our mission to be part of that, the legislation, the way people understand AI, the way they're thinking about it. I have some very advanced models of AI that I want to, make sure we're ultimately sending out into the world. So there's a lot involved here. And I think that the short term is, let's say the short term is, I would call the next 2 years, is just really making it easy for people to get into
people
this.
To come in basically and use token AI to basically get what they need to get, right? Basically.
That's right. Yeah. And then long term, I think we're part of the blockchain.
Ecosystem.
We're part of the ecosystem. We're part of how regulators start thinking about the space. We're part of the discussion, and that's part of why we're here. So it's an awesome time to be here because we're actually having the road ahead. And that's honestly, I feel honored.
Yeah, and that's amazing. I think they say we're 1% of the world who's actually sort of into it, and I say we're quite early as well. And does it feel exciting in some way?
Oh, I mean, every day, man. Every day is like, what's the adventure going to be? Because we're here. We're like, you're in the middle of writing history. Your listeners are in the middle of writing history. You're part of it. We'll look back at this day, right? We'll look back and go, man, you remember the beginning of crypto? Like you were there.
Hey man, I'll call you when that day happens, and I'll see you in Liechtenstein, because that's right. That's a good place to have a good beer, I hear. So
let's do it. Man.
Let's do it, man. And what is token AI? What is it? Bitcoin, Ethereum? You can get all those coins, right? With your, or are you just limiting it to a few sort of thing?
No, you. That's all going to be up to you. You can pick whatever you want.
No, but I want to know what tokens you have, like.
Yeah, what you'll do is you'll come in, because again we're just a platform,
right?
So you'll come in with Ethereum.
That's good, man.
Yeah, you come in with Ethereum or Bitcoin. We don't have Bitcoin right this second, only Ethereum, but soon. That'll be your entry ramp. That's kind of everybody's entry ramp. And then you come into the space and you diversify accordingly. So,
What you want.
just, yeah. And that's all based on your risk. And, I personally am a low risk person. I like to reduce volatility, which is what the whole platform is about, is to kind of, reduce the amount of unnecessary risk and kind of say, like, look, if we diversify with these top 20 tokens and these percentages, you're much more likely to succeed long term.
Right. And in diversifying, right?
That's right. Yeah. And that's really the plan.
That's the plan, man. And there you go, guys. I hope my audience, this was a really cool interview to do with Lawrence. It was educational. It was fun. It was exciting. I got the guy to tell me all about what Token AI is. So he's actually, giving his time. We're both wearing the same shirt. So,
yeah.
It just goes to show this interview was made. Lawrence, my final question is
yes, sir.
What do you want from Token AI? What do you want to do to the community? What is it that, and maybe we can do a follow-up to talk about the developments when I get to 30,000, hopefully.
I would love that.
Let's rock and roll and get it out there.
Yeah, definitely love to speak again. So, I think long-term, man, if I can even one person listens to this video and gets an aha or a light bulb goes off, then I feel like we've done our job.
Go to Token AI, guys.
Yeah, that's it, and if you're caught by this, if you get the bug, you are in the perfect place, and come join the Token AI family, come hang out, share your ideas, get on Telegram,
hey man, we won't get just one view. There'll be a couple of thousand views, man. So don't worry about that. I'm sure a lot of great guys are gonna be watching this.
It's awesome. It's awesome. I know. I mean, that's what I'm saying. Like, that's why it's a win. It's such a win all the way around, right?
It's a win because we want people to check out Token AI and what you guys are doing. So you're doing an amazing job, man. Hopefully we can do this follow-up and you can tell us about your developments in the next few weeks. And, obviously every interview I always do a follow-up. So you can tell us about your developments and what's going on, man.
Fantastic. Yeah, that sounds awesome. I look forward to it, my friend. Great chatting with you.
There you go, guys. So good to privilege to interview Lawrence. Where do we find you? Is it www.tokenai.com or is it?
It's www.tokenai.io.
Right, IO.
Yeah, because that's all the techies. We got to go IO.
That's the techie. They've changed the .com to .io now, right?
That's right. Yeah, that's exactly right. So you can find us there. And if you want to try the platform, go to platform.tokenai.io, and then you can just sign up right there, and you'll see lots of changes coming over the next week or two because we're releasing some new things. I've got a upgraded Juliet will be coming in the next about month or two max. We got teams of people. Right now is the time when developers are working hard
on the platform. Yeah. And we can talk about Juliet in the next interview. I'm sure she'll come on board. So. All right, man, this is a wrap. Lawrence, it's a privilege to get you on board. What a humbled guy he is. I know his good friend, Frederick. He's another great guy in the space. Watch what these guys do. I hope you tune in. Go to their website. They're doing amazing things in this field, trying to light up the world with crypto. And, oh, man, what a ride this is going to be. All right, Lawrence, it's a privilege to interview you. Thanks.
Awesome. Good to see you. See you, man.
All right, man. Take it easy.